Hope you're all doing well. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear me. It's pretty late. Um, sorry this live stream is happening so late, but I've been working most of the day on the new crypto fund that I'm starting, and it's gonna start very soon. So as soon as I know you guys can hear me, I will get onto it. Awesome, man. Thank you, Gravy. Happy you're here, by the way. We pretty much reached the target that I gave you guys in the previous stream. I've drawn out this red beautiful line, which is currently sitting at like 3650, and we reached it. And I think it is important to do this update just so you guys know what is likely going to happen here. Which means we're just gonna jump straight to the short term. If you want to find out my long-term plan, please check out my last live stream. It's on my channel, and you actually should be able to find it easily. Here's the plan. Here's the strategy that I am going to take. If it's wrong, it's wrong. That's why we put our stop here. I feel as though that we are going to breach this support right here. And this pretty much characterizes what has been happening lately in crypto. I also feel like if we do, it's going to be a very short breach, and we are going to quickly regain control. And this is not just a random feeling, it's actually based on the fact that when we set support here in November 2018, we went as low as, let's check real quick, 3650, and we haven't reached this level yet. And I do know that everyone is looking at this as support, which means that it is likely that we will take this out. Regardless, this is my buy level. And the strategy that I'm following here is that I will not remove my longs at all unless we break this support down here, which I should really adjust, is currently sitting at 3250, which means that basically this cannot be a high leveraged long. If you're going to take this trade, you probably have to do so with low leverage. And as usual, keep in mind, like risk management is key. If you are doing trading, you cannot risk like 20% of your entire trading stack. So keep it below 5%. You should be okay. If we win this trade, you're going to take this 5% and you're going to exit with 20%, which means that your stack grew with 15%. If we lose it, it's going to be basically no harm done. And the reason that I'm taking this trade like this is very simple. There is a accumulation strategy that I've posted on my Twitter. So I'm just going to my personal Twitter page. And this is the strategy that we are following. I will also post this in my Discord group. This is it. And if you take this pattern, and obviously this is not updated yet, I will post the updated chart in a few minutes, but you can see that this is eerily similar. And I will also post a book in which you can find this. And what I recently found out is that nobody wants to be like a full-time trader that trades on his own. You just want some advice and learn the hard way and become a trader that way. So that is fine. That is what I will do. But I feel like it's important to understand why things are happening. And this is the strategy I'm following. And up until now, it has, played out. Currently, we are at the buy target. Doesn't matter if we go a few dollars lower. And if we get this trade right, obviously we have the first target here. It's 53.51. Second target, however, is at 9,700. And there's a good reason for this. Obviously, all of you, and if you haven't checked my previous streams, have seen the descending triangle that I have drawn out, which proved to be accurate. And this accumulation pattern is not, the first happening for Bitcoin. If we go back in time, all the way to 2015, we had the exact same pattern going on here. I'll just map this out. It's like a literal copy of what recently happened. And I actually have to shorten this a little bit. Like, the disadvantage is that this was a way more volatile period than we have now, so the wicks are far more extreme. That being said, once this triangle was broken, we had the exact same pattern going on here, and it seemed as though we actually regained control as bulls because we did break the support, which is now resistance. But then the bear market continued, and I'm pretty much expecting the exact same thing to play out here. If I have to draw this out in a rough manner, this is how I would personally draw it. I think we're going to go above this resistance, which used to be support, and continue the bear market. And this is the perfect bull trap. Pretty much every bull in existence is going to take longs at this point, and they're going to be blown up. And you have to understand, and I will repeat this every stream, that everyone is looking for the bottom. What is the bottom in the previous bear market? The bottom is this entire period that we went through, and despite the fact that everybody thinks that the bottom is going to be set in 1 hour, and if they miss it, they're screwed, the bottom actually took 287 days, where the actual price hovered around the same level, and that is the bottom. It's not a single instance where this happens. This is a long period of time where Bitcoin is going to float at the same price point. And I think most of the people pretty much agree with me that that is not what we are seeing here. Bitcoin is not hovering at the same price point. In fact, even this small gain is a 37% difference. And we have plenty of time to start accumulating once we reach the real bottom. Good question here. What leverage do I trade with? It really depends. And it doesn't matter. Like, you're asking the wrong question. The real question anyone should ask themselves is, how much should I actually risk per trade? And the honest answer is 1%. That is, according to the books, the best actual risk that you should take. I also know that every trader in crypto is crazy. We are not here to preserve our money. We are actually here to make crazy gains, and we are willing to lose big time if we don't. Otherwise, we would all be in real estate, right? Or gold. So I would say 5%. And this might sound on the safe side, but you have to understand that there will be times where you lose 4 times in a row. And if you do 5% every time, you're going to blow out 20% of your accounts. And let's go a little bit deeper. Everybody in crypto, they have heard the term wrecked, which means that you lost all your money, like everything. This term didn't exist before crypto. Nobody got wrecked. Nobody lost their entire account. And the reason this happens is because people get greedy and they lose more than they can basically risk. And that is when you get wrecked. And you're in the game. You are 100% in the game until you get wrecked. That's when you are out of the game. And as long as you are in the game, you have the potential to make crazy gains. If you can't be in the game anymore because you lost your entire balance, that's when you're going to start to feel bad. That's when things are going to go out of hand. And that is when people are going to be really unhappy. So the main thing you have to make sure of is that you don't get wrecked. You don't lose your entire balance. That's the most stupid thing you can do. And the beauty of it is that like 50% gains in crypto are not uncommon, and it just takes one trade. And if you then made a small trade of like 2%, you doubled your portfolio right there. So that's the main thing to remember. Don't get wrecked. Don't overinvest. I would say 2% is the max, regardless of your portfolio size. And if you're a crazy bastard who doesn't care, then just go to 5% and keep it there. Once you go over that, you're gonna be screwed, because, and let me get the correct chart for this. I'm going to go to slides, because I made a presentation about this, as it is very, very important. And I would like to show you this, because everybody in crypto is looking for these strategies, you know, these pattern trading, whatever. It doesn't matter. It all doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't blow out your account. Far more important. And it took me like a couple of years to realize this. So here we go. I hope you can all see this. If you have a strategy with 50% accuracy, which means that on average, you are right 50% of the time. There are going to, statistically be times where you are going to lose 7 to 8 times in a row. So let's say you have a 50% accuracy and you do 600 trades. There is going to be one time where you lose 7 to 8 times in a row. This is an actual statistical fact. What do you think happens if you actually risk 20% of your portfolio every trade? There's going to be 15 times over these 600 trades where you lose 5 to 6 times in a row. If you risk 20% of your portfolio, there's going to be 15 times an occurrence where you lose everything. This is not what you want. Even if you are like 60, 70% accurate, there are going to be times where you lose 5 to 6 times in a row, even though you are, on average, 50% accurate. And this is the exact reason why risk management is so very important, because let's go to the next slide. Recovery after a drawdown, which means recovery after a loss. If you lose 50% of your portfolio, you're going to have to make 100% profit to make up for it. If you lose 75% of your portfolio, you're going to have to make 300% to make up for it. If you lose 90% of your portfolio, you're going to have to make 900% to make up for it. And this is what most of the people overlook. And this is why everybody gets wrecked. It's not because they don't have a profitable strategy. It's because they do not take into account that even though their actual strategy is profitable, there are going to be instances where you lose multiple times in a row. And please keep in mind, this applies to traders. It doesn't apply to long-term holders. That's a completely different strategy. I'm going to actually talk about that as well. I can give a brief 2-minute introduction. So let's go to docs. There's a difference between investing and trading. All this only matters if you are taking like a couple trades a day and you have a trading strategy. If you are an actual investor, if you are in for the long term, and there will be a full presentation about this, but then you have to follow this strategy. VC strategy. I got this from venture capitalists, as these are professional parties that invest in high risk assets, and this is how they do it. It's very simple. They have 10 million. US dollars. You know, they are long-term investors. They buy 10 different assets. And for venture capitalists, these are like actual businesses. Next step, they expect 8 of them to go bust. Like gone, lost all their money. Very simple. That's how it goes in crypto, in the VC world, everything. However, they expect 1 or 2 of them to go at least 20x. So this is what happened. They buy 10 high-risk assets, they keep them for a couple of years, 8 are bust, lost all their money. The 1 or 2 that succeed, they have the potential to go 20x, 100x, 1000x. So on average, even though 8 of their assets went bust, they have made at least 100% profit on these 1 or 2 businesses that actually have performed well. And if you're an investor, this is how you should do it. You shouldn't put all your money into one asset. Everybody knows these stories of people that did so and they got like shit rich. These are the people that tell stories. Do you know who doesn't tell stories? The people who lost all their money. They don't go to the news like, hey, I lost all my money. Can I go on the news? Doesn't happen. And this group of people is far larger. So risk management, and again, risk management, super important. And I know most of the people don't want to learn how to be a trader, but the one thing you have to learn is how to manage your risk. And I will keep saying this because it is very important. On the short term, appears as though we are pretty much recovering. This is the 5-minute chart. We could get one more down leg to 3650, but I'm pretty confident that after that, we're going to continue like the bull trend for the main reason that, first of all, this is an actual accumulation pattern. This is a very unknown accumulation pattern. Here's what everybody was expecting. They were seeing this as an actual head and shoulders. Now they see it as a failed head and shoulders, which makes them put in shorts. And I'm not thinking this because of manipulation, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying this because if everybody is on one side of the boat usually flips over. And I'm pretty confident that if we go to BTC, longs versus shorts, and make sure to save this page that I'm about to show you. We go to Datamish, and we can see that currently there are more shorts than longs. Ethereum, just gonna do a couple things today because I am super tired. Kind of the same story here, just gonna lose the log scale. Gonna go to the 1 day. We actually managed, and I'm just gonna redraw this. We managed to briefly take out the first Fibonacci level here, 236. Now we're heading back down. The one thing that I feel is important here is that we do not take out 0.028 Bitcoins. On the USD, is pretty much coincides with, and let me get this right, it's pretty important, 103 USD. As long as we don't take that level out, I'm pretty confident that we can regain at least some sort of bullish control. And the level that I'm actually eyeing for this currently is $400. And it might actually sound extreme, but ever since we started this bear trend, we never actually managed to recover. You know, not even a bounce. We had a brief bounce March 2018. Other than that, the bears have been in total control. Next reason why I believe this is because if we go to the log scale, we can clearly see that this level right here, $53, and this one, $86, are pretty much the last sorts of support. If we breach down here, there is nothing, you know, there is no pattern, there is no level at which there was any kind of bounce, any resistance, any support. So if we do breach this, we're going to go down to $14, and I pretty much find that impossible for the reason that it is very important to understand. And in order to show you, I'm going to have to go to the Bitcoin chart. The reason that the whole market collapsed is as follows. When we were trading in this period of time, sorry, I lost connection for a second. The beginning of 2016 even, up until like December 2017, all the money that flowed into the market went into the projects that were available. And the reason that the whole market came crashing down is because the supply of projects became larger than the demand. You know, the money flowing into the market was spread across too much projects, spread too thinly, and that is the reason why this bear market started. And the only reason this bear market is going to be reverted is because most of the projects are going to be gone. There's going to be limited supply, a lot of demand, and that's when we continue up. And the same story is for ETH. You know, all depends on when this happens. But I feel that $14 is a bit far-fetched. And so my bets are currently on 55 USD. And that's my personal bet. You know, anyone trading this market could be trading gold or Forex or whatever. And the reason they are trading or investing in crypto is because they believe in a potential. They believe that there is going to be another bull run. Otherwise, they would be trading silver or gold or stocks or Forex, USD, Euro, whatsoever. So that is my short-term view. Two more points that I want to actually talk about here. First of all, EOS. I'm a pretty big fan of EOS. And the reason I'm taking this trade is because we actually did touch this support channel, regain control. But I feel like this is a pretty big move down. You know, this is, let me get this right, 92%, and the bulls only managed to take back like 100%, which in perspective is very small. You know, 1.6 to 3.2, all the way down from 22. And I actually have an EOS position, and I plan to keep it until we reach $4. This is a pretty big resistance channel. I don't truly believe that we will cross it anytime soon, but I do believe we have to test it. So I got my lungs in here, and this is my bet. I bet that we actually have to test this level, because if you look at the mid picture or even bigger picture, let's just go back to one day. There is not a whole lot that could stop this advance at $3. Like this is the only thing that really shows any kind of support. And it only happened once. So that is very, very weak. $4 is a very strong level. And we didn't test it. Of course, very important to understand that this is my personal opinion. This is my semi-professional view. I might be completely wrong about anything. That being said, you know, from the past few years, I learned a few things, and this makes most sense to me. And even for this pattern, for this, I'll just remove all drawing tools. You know, this one single pattern here, which looks like a head and shoulders, with one final dump and then a bullish reaction. This is not the first time that we've seen this. If we go back to this massive bull run, we can see that there's one example of this happening, head and shoulders, then a dump, then a bullish reaction. Here's the second. Oh, excuse me, can I remove this? This is very crude. But here's the second, you know, and basically this actually just kept on happening. There's one in March 2017, head and shoulders with an additional dump, bullish reaction. And this just kept on happening. So this is not something that is made up. You can actually see it in the chart. And this could be the first of a couple of these patterns. So we have an inverted head and shoulders, a dump, and then a bullish reaction. The difference here is that this is inverted. So if this happens, my personal expectation is that we will reach approximately 6,000 USD and then continue the bear market. So yeah, these are my thoughts. This is the quick update that I have for you right now. Me personally, the past few days I've been working pretty hard on setting up the actual crypto fund on which I've been working for a while now. It's been going better than I ever expected. And hopefully next week we will go into existence with 3 actual products in our portfolio. So I'm very excited about this. Didn't really expect this to happen, but I'm very excited that it does. If you need anything, you guys know where to find me. You've got my Discord, so feel free to send me a message. And I will just continue to do these live streams. And I wish you guys happy trading. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.